Hey there! I had not done a first impressions video in quite a while, and also I could not wait to share with you this new journal that I got. It's not only beautiful, but I can honestly say that it is one of the few journals that has impressed me the most. The Washi Tape shop recently launched their original bullet journal, designed with creators in mind. They highlight their ultra-thick toweling paper for a smooth writing and drawing experience without ink bleed. And when I read this, I really didn't think much of it, but after the pen test, my jaw dropped, and you will see why. It comes in two colors, Moonbeam Garden in a very soft pink, and Moonlight Garden in a beautiful shade of blue, and that's the one I got. For the specifications, it comes in the usual A5, which most journals have this size. And each bullet journal is wrapped with soft yet durable PU leather that has this lovely floral print and a gilded little flower on the cover. It has 160 pages of ultra-thick 160 GSM toweling paper. The paper itself comes in a yellowish ivory tone, and it gives it a lovely vintage vibe. I am going to compare it here with two other journals. So this is a Scribbles That Matter Pro version with 120 GSM paper and is a bit of a lighter ivory in comparison. But then when you look at Notebook Therapy's Tsuki journal with a bright white 160 GSM, then you can definitely see the difference. If you ask me, I don't have a personal preference because I think all shades can be enjoyable and creative. And then there's these colored edges that go exceptionally well with that ivory paper. This intense coral color is like the perfect match, not only to the paper but also to the blue cover. So all in all, I think it's a really pretty design. Another highlight is that when it lays open, the dots on both sides are aligned, which I think it's a really good thing. It might be or might seem like a small detail, but to me, that's kind of an important thing, especially when I make spreads that have horizontal lines. I really like when they match perfectly. So that's really a good thing that they paid attention to that detail. It also comes with 3 separate ribbon bookmarks, which makes it easier to mark different sections of your journal. I feel that there's never enough of those. Sometimes I end up marking sections with post-its or washi tapes, and so those really come handy. And then at the back there is a small paper pocket with fabric side linings for durability. And this of course is perfect for stickers, stamps, and other small collectibles that you may come across. Like most journals, it comes with an elastic closure. In this case, it's a dark blue, but the pink journal has this beautiful blush pink to match. And something that I like is that it doesn't have a pen loop, which sometimes I find it's disturbing the flowing of my hand while I'm drawing. But anyway, that's just personal preference. In the end, this has no other added elements. It's a beautiful blank canvas that is yours to fill. They just have the name of the shop printed here in the back, so it has no numbers and no space to write your name like most journals do. It leaves it up to you to fill it however you want. So let's talk about price. The complete set that includes your choice of the original 5-piece premium washi tape set and the journal retails for $54.95 US. I chose a champagne floral set, but you can choose also either the fragrance or the spring memory set. But you can just get the journal on its own for $32.95 US. And now I am sure that you really want to see how well does the paper perform. So I started by making a grid count on the last page, and honestly this pen is gliding. It's a really nice and soft experience to write on this paper, and I was surprised because since it is an A5, I expected a 26 by 38 squares, and instead it's 27 by 39, which means that you have a little bit extra space for your spreads, so I thought that was really nice. And now I am moving on to the pen test. I am testing all of the pens and markers that I usually use. And the first time I saw a pen test, I didn't see much use to it, but after ruining a couple of spreads, now I see the wisdom in always trying on the back of the journal before you actually go ahead and use all your pens and markers on your spreads. So I am starting with my favorite fine liners. All of these have different ink flows. I mean, some leave trace that is more wet than others. So I was looking for feathering, but there was hardly any. And I'm trying here a calligraphy pen, and it didn't feather at all. This is kind of important to me because I really don't like when some of my drawings or writings feathers. It makes it look like sloppy. So anyway, gel pens of course are great on this paper. I don't know if it's happened to you. Some gel pens like get stuck in certain papers, and it didn't happen at all on this paper. They were just gliding like butter. I am addicted to fountain pens, and although this is not specifically a fountain pen paper, I think it performed really well. I'm happy with how it looks. And as for the rest of the markers, they all go on pretty well. And I didn't just write with markers, I tried to make some traces, even going over those 4 times. And on the last stroke, I did notice that the paper started to peel a little bit. So my fear was that on the back of the page, it would be like totally going through. But we will find out when I flip the page. So I just continue trying my favorite markers, and they look pretty well. As I have mentioned before, this paper is kind of yellowish. So that, in my own particular case, kind of affects the colors and the warmth or the coolness of the colors that I choose. But that's okay, because I usually tend to gravitate toward warmer tones, so I think they go really well with this paper. I'm trying more pens, and I'm about to try permanent markers, which I never use on journals because they always bleed through. Alcohol markers even bleed through down to the page behind, so I was not expecting anything different from this journal. But I'm gonna let you listen to the unedited reaction when I flip the page. What? My... Oh, I mean, you can barely see it, except of course this. And a little bit where I marked it, but I was like totally sure it would really have a bad bleed through. And it doesn't. Not bad at all. Oh, wow. So there you have it. I was really impressed that the part where I wrote with the alcohol marker was barely visible, and all in all, it was just where I really retraced with that marker. It was the one that showed the most, but the rest of everything else was barely visible, and that was just simply amazing to me. Like, it's the first journal where I do all of these tests and you can barely see anything. So that was really, really satisfying. And now I am doing the paint test. Instead of just making some traces with paint, I am actually doing what I would usually do on my journals, which is a complete drawing. So I'm just drawing different beverages with different mediums, and I'm gonna also show you how they look once I flip the page. The techniques I usually go for are watercolors, inks, or wash, and I am usually careful with the amount of water that I use because this paper is definitely not watercolor resistant, so I usually try to use very little water in any journal. And the last technique where I use that water tank brush is the one that used the most water out of them all. But I barely use it because I know that that one definitely bleeds through. I am trying also some stamps, which I usually use with markers, and so those represent no danger of bleeding through. And now I am going to make sure again that I am flipping just one page, and there you have it. There's nothing. Like, of course, like I said, where I use the water tank brush, you can definitely see a bleed through. And the rest, there's like the slightest ghosting ever. But all in all, it's not something that would disrupt anything that you put on this side of the paper. And although you can see a little bit wrapping here because of the water, when it dried, it was as smooth and soft as it had not been used on the other side. I'm pointing to the ink here because I use quite some water there as well, and inks usually, since they have very strong pigments, they bleed through, but this one didn't. So I think I'm in love with this paper, honestly. There's no bleed through at all, except of course with that one where I used a lot of water. And the ghosting is barely visible. Like, compared to other journals that I've used, I think I'm really, really happy with this one. Like, here I'm showing you again that alcohol marker that they usually bleed a lot. And this one, you can't see what I wrote on the other side. Generally, you could be able to see it, but this is just simply amazing. Before my final thoughts, I have to add that the journal comes in this beautiful cardboard box with these amazing gilded details, and it's just too pretty to like just discard. And we live in a recycling era, so make sure you keep it so that you can store all of your favorite stationery items, your washi tapes, and of course your journal. I love it. I think this journal is for you if you want a clean canvas to empty all of your creative ideas on it with any medium of your choice. It works for the doodle, the scrapbook, the illustrated, or the art type of journal. And I'm gonna link my video on bullet journal styles if you want to know what I am talking about. And of course you can use it if you want to go for a simple journaling style and just have a gorgeous journal. It's just that I think that paper this good has to be milked for all its amazing properties. And to finish off, I have to say that the Washi Tape Shop products have one of the best quality, which you are clearly paying for, but also their shipping time is one of the fastest that I have experienced, and their customer service is really attentive and friendly. And it is my honor to now be affiliated with them and offer my subscribers 10% off using my code NALAMID10. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I am really excited to use this journal. And if you have it or plan on buying it, I would love to know what you think of it. So let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more journaling content and hit the bell for real notifications on my uploads. I really appreciate all of your support and your comments. So as usual, thank you so much for watching.